Hello Carpologists, I'm Luke.
And I'm Joe.
And today we are starting the first in a new series of feature-length films where we will be travelling around the country fishing different day ticket venues.
Indeed. Today we're at Stanwick, or Stanwick Fisheries, and in more particular we're going to be fishing on Mallard. So I've heard of this place before, some of you may not have, some of you may have. Lots of fish in this one in particular, I think it's 350 different carp.
Yeah, in about 4 or 5 acres, so there's quite a few carp to go for, and we've seen quite a few of them already.
We have indeed. It's a lovely looking spot, very easy to get to as well. It's just off the main road, so none of these little farmer tracks to get down to it. Easy access, so if that's something you look for in a venue, then very easy to get, and getting around the lakes. And we've already seen plenty of fish.
Yeah, we have.
That's for sure.
There's loads to go for. They're shown in certain areas as well, so that's obviously where we're going to be exploring first.
But there's a few swims we already like the look of, so we'll probably wrap this up. We'll talk to you more about our tactics, how we're going to approach it. We're here till Friday, so we've got a whole week ahead of us.
Loads of time.
And hopefully lots of fish for the cameras as well. Welcome to the swim I have chosen, and as you can see I haven't bothered to tidy up yet because the main focus was finding spots to start with, and this is pretty much what you don't normally see on camera when I'm filming because normally everything's packed away nice and neatly, but this is me on a real life session and stuff is everywhere. But I found some spots. I got the deeper out to start with just because from what I can see in the margins there's a lot of weed present, so I thought clearly it's going to be trying to find clear spots, so I just thought I'd check that out, get an overview of the whole swim. And I struck gold straight away because I found a clear patch about 10 wraps out, brought it back and thought happy days. The weed then comes up a bit and ebbs and flows up and down everywhere, but very much a clear patch out there. So I got the lead on, felt about everywhere directly in front of me, about 10 wraps was clear. So I started feeling about a bit more, and it seems that there's a patch there that's very, very clear. So if you're ever daunted by weed, find patches, then fine, but here very, very easy to find patch. And the right one I've also just put down the margin because there's a little clear patch there as well. So we've seen a lot of fish moving up and down close in, and from what we've been told from people that fished here before, so we've got some tips and things from people that fish here regularly, margins can produce very well, so we've obviously not ignored that, or at least I haven't to start with. And the clear patch out there, I've just put some bait over the top, just boilie approach, because I believe there's some bream present as well, so don't want to get too much action from them. Fairly simple tactics. The right rod, which is in the margin, is a very odd looking solid bag, I'm going to say, so many of you probably think it looks very odd. The lead isn't in the bag, only the hook bait is, and that's simply because although I'm getting a bit of a donk, when I brought the lead back in before, there's some very low lying silkweed, so that lead will just plummet into that, but the solid bag thing that I've made will just sit on top of that, and as it dissolves it's going to be fine. I know that's worked and presented perfectly because I've been picked up by coots about 3 times. The other 2 have just gone out on a helicopter system or helicopter setup with rolly rigs and just popped up off the deck. It's very clear out there, so I'm pretty sure I'm presented well, and they just slowly sink down. So if there is any kind of low-lying weed that I'm not feeling on the drop, it should settle down perfectly on top of that. All boilie approach pretty much so far, other than the margin one with some pellet, and that is how I'm approaching it. See how things go. If things change or fish move about and present themselves elsewhere, then I'll go for it. That's why I haven't baited stupidly heavy, because I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket. So next stage is to gather and organise this mess and make myself a bit more comfortable for the few nights ahead.
Right, and guys, so I've turned up a little bit late to the party due to work commitments. I've just dropped in the swim next door to Luke. My approach is going to be a little bit different than what the other guys have talked about. Very much going to be putting out my bait. I've put out around about 3 to 4 kilo of the isotonic and also the Atlantic crab from Mistral. 11 wraps. I've found some clear spots, but basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my head down tonight, and then Luke to set my alarm for first light, be up, get them rods out, and hopefully let the fish drift in, have a bit of a feed, feel confident in that area, get a little bit more bait out, like I said, get them rigs out as well, and hopefully I'll be able to catch 2 or 3 early doors in the morning and be able to get that wrapped up.
So as you can see, my swim is nice and tidy and a little bit more organised than what Joe's was. Granted, it is about 4 hours later because I've taken that long to actually set up. But we're going for a third approach in this swim. I've got 3 rods all in one spot in quite a tight area. Again, it's a very similar distance to what both Joe's and Andy's is. It's about 10 wraps. And I've gone for a couple of different size boilies as well. So I'm using 15 and 20mm boilies, trying to mix it up a little bit. So we'll see what happens tonight. Hopefully one of us will have a carp in the net in the morning. Morning. I thought I'd do a quick update just as it's our first morning here at Stanwick and tell you about what happened last night. Firstly, I got bit into pieces by the mozzies. As normal, first night out on the bank, I always seem to be eaten alive. So once I got that out of the way, I finally managed to get some sleep, and just before first light this morning, I had an absolute screamer on my left rod. And that was actually followed quite quickly by a second take on my middle rod. And that's the benefit of using 3 rods on one spot sometimes. You can pick up 2 or 3 bites in really quick succession. So we'll show you those fish in a second. We've also just filmed Andy putting his rods out as he's left his baited area with no rods in at all overnight. So hopefully he'll be getting a quick bite or 2 this morning. It's just gone 6 o'clock, so it's well in bite time. There's every chance we can have a few more fish for the cameras, but let's check out the ones that I had from last night. There you go, here's the first of the 2 that I had this morning just before first light. Lovely little mirror, lovely dark fish. Let's get this one back. The other one's slightly bigger, not a lot bigger, but again, it's going to be a lovely, lovely looking fish. So let's slip her back. There you go, there's the second one from this morning. Again, a lovely dark mirror. Probably about 17–18 pound, haven't actually weighed it, but it looks amazing, especially in this morning sun as well. What an awesome looking fish. Let's get her back, have a cup of tea.
Well, the baiting approach has clearly worked. After putting in them 3 to 5 kilo last night over the spot and just basically went to bed. Put my rods out this morning within an hour and a half. I've had 2 runs. Unfortunately, the one that I was just playing has just come off, but we were able to get this one in the net. Lovely little linear. Probably say he's just 10–11 pounds, maybe a little bit more. But I'm going to get some more bait out now. They're clearly getting on the crab and the isotonic from Mistral. So I'm going to put a little bit more in now and hopefully we can get a few more bites throughout the day.
sorted.
Nice.
Picked up by the coots about half a dozen times this morning alone, so peace of mind more than anything getting that rod back out.
Yeah.
I've actually changed it as well. I've gone to double tiger net on that one because...
Oh, no.
And I'm the one that's been up earlier than you.
Oh, that's why... Oh.
Now this is the final edit now.
This is the exact reason I need coffee, to try and prevent things like this happening.
And I don't like coffee, so now my swim stinks of the stuff.
It smells really nice.
But we've been up, well, I've been up since 3:45 this morning, filming fish and filming Andy setting up, so I need caffeine as well.
So if you're enjoying the first of our new series of day ticket fishing, then make sure to like and subscribe to the CARPology YouTube page so you don't miss any of our future episodes. Also, if you've got somewhere in mind that you fancy us fishing, then let us know in the comments below.
That cast was banging.
Well, we're into the third bite now of the morning after putting all that bait in last night. This one's come on the outside rod now, so that's a bite on each one. This is on an MB1 multi-rig. So hopefully just got him out of a weed bed. Hopefully play ball and come in. He's just getting ready for the net now. Get him. No better feeling than landing a fish after just losing one. And he is absolutely mega. Check out the scales on that. Get him. Check that one out. That is a proper mint looking fish. After losing that fish before, I prayed so much that this one would go into the net, and yeah, the carp gods were definitely on my side this time. Putting that bait out last night clearly has worked, letting the fish come in, have a feed, and then flicking the rods out this morning has definitely paid dues now. 3 runs, 2 fish banked. I'm really happy with this. But let's slip it back and hopefully we can get another one. Well, the action's coming quick and fast now. Just literally doing the photos of that fully scaled and the middle rod's ripped off. That baiting approach of 3 to 5 kilos last night, it's clearly worked, getting my head down and letting the fish come in and have a feed. They all head straight for the same weed bed. There's one just in the middle, and then there's one right on the edge just by where the peg is. Just sit tight for a second and hopefully he'll kick himself free. Well, what we thought was another bite's turned out to be a tench. Hey, it's one of them things, unfortunately, fishing these kind of waters, but we'll get the rod back out, finished out what we were doing with the other fish, and hopefully a few more will come along quite soon.
Still nothing in my swim, but I've made a few little changes, gone a bit more down the route of Luke and Andy, because I've now got the 2 left-hand rods to the left and the middle one really tight on the spot, probably about 6 foot apart between them, and put about 15 to 20 spoms of MB1 plus on them and a little bit of Atlantic crab. So 2 little different baits in there and 2 or 3 spoms of pellet. I know I've been told before to avoid pellets, it might get the bream in, but we haven't had any issues so far with what we've put out. So I've tried that. If it backfires, then you'll learn with me and I won't do it again. But I feel like that's going to be a better technique because it's working for Luke and Andy. Right one's still in the margin. And I've also changed the hook baits. So I've got double tiger net on the margin one as a hook bait. And on the middle one I've now got a wafter. So slightly different tactics, see which one pays off, and then probably make changes to the same rigs on all of them if whichever one goes off first. And that's pretty much me in my swim. But we're about to go down to see Andy. I think he's planning on baiting a few different spots today and see if he can get some sort of in the margins to see exactly what sort of rigs he's using.
Right, and guys, just going to talk you through the rigs and bait that I've had the 2 fish on this morning. You can't really get any simpler with this rig. It's very much a long shank hook, liner style, and some Corda camo coated braid. What I like to fish on top of the blowback rig is a wafter Mistral bait Atlantic crab, and I just tip it off with a tiger knot. I find that works for me. I've never really been into tipping my baits with white or yellows or anything like that. It's simple, it does the business, and yeah, that's what one of the fish has come on this morning. The other rig was the ever faithful multi-rig. Once again, very simple rig to tie. You've got a size 6 Kamakura hook on there to a MB1 pop-up, and I'll just put a little split shot on there just to make sure that that's critically balanced and it floats down quite well. Once again, you've got the Corda camo coated braid, and that sits brilliantly over the top, and I'll either use that on a helicopter setup or on a lead clip setup. With the guys getting rid of a lot of the weed in the lake now, everywhere that we're casting we seem to be getting decent drops, so I'm not really too fussed about that. It's more about just making sure that rig is presented. I am getting a drop, and if I don't, I bring it back in and redo it. Well, we were just doing bait talk, right hand rod's ripped off. I'm 99% sure it's a carp, but don't hold me to that. Straight away they go for a weed bed that's just in the middle of the lake, and then there's one, probably 2 rod lengths out. They love to get their head into that one as well. Try and steer and clear of it, keep it high. You'll probably notice that I am trying to play him quite hard. Just in these margins here, there's quite a lot of weeds, silkweed that are lying on the bottom, and the fish a couple of times I've got their head right in it. So I'm just trying to keep him away from the patches that I can see. But also making sure that the clutch is set, that if he does do a good lunge, it's set enough to allow him to take line. So this is the 3rd fish of the session now for me. The baiting approach is clearly working. So what we're going to do now is we're going to slip this one back, and I'll talk you through them tactics. Right then, well, we've just slipped that fish back now, so let's talk about bait. Since joining the Mistral team, I've been using the Atlantic crab in 15mm and the Rosa Pisatonic in 15mm. What I like to do before any session is get the baits out the freezer and get some rapeseed oil. What I'll then do is give the baits probably 1/4 to half a bottle, and it gives them a nice glazed. They take that on in the thawing process, and what that'll do is it'll give me twofold really. It'll give me quite a bit of information. It'll flatten off the spots if any fish come over, and it'll also tell me if any fish are feeding. After last night's approach of putting in probably around about 3 to 5 kilo of bait, what I'm going to look to do this evening is probably do the same thing, bring my rods in, let the fish have another good feed, and then hopefully repeat the process again for tomorrow. So I was just introducing a little bit more bait and literally dropped the catapult on the floor because the rod's ripped off as we were throwing bait in. I'm not sure of the size of this one, I haven't seen anything of it just yet, but it was a common. I haven't had any commons yet. But we're just getting to the point now where there's the weed bed just in front of my peg. So, no doubt he'll head straight for that.
So the bites have dried up a little bit this afternoon, and this seemed a perfect time to introduce Phil, who is one of 2 partners of the Stanwick complex.
That's right.
We're here obviously on Mallard, and that's where we've been doing our main feature, but like I mentioned, it is actually a complex. So could you tell us a bit more about the whole site?
Yeah, it's about 46 acres in total. I think there's about 23 acres of water. We've got 6 day ticket lakes and 1 syndicate. So one of the day ticket lakes you have to pre-book, which is Elson's. We only allow a dozen anglers on that, so it's just first come first serve on the pegs, but you're guaranteed you swim when you come. That's 6.5 acres with about 150 fish, probably 25 over 30. It's done 3 different 40s this year.
Oh wow.
To 41 something. And then you move on to Mallard, which is about 4.5 acres with about 350 fish, a lot of 20 pounders, but quite a few between 10 and 19 as well. Biggest we've had this year, 33.
Okay, so there's still some 30s to go for in there as well.
Probably about 3 30s in there. And then Swan Lake, which is a bit more of a runs water, 400, 450 in 3 acres. The average in there is 10 to 20 pound, biggest being 27 this year. And then we've got 2 smaller ones, Coot Lake and Carp Lake, mixture of bream, tench, carp, a bit of all sorts. So we try and cater for everybody.
Oh, definitely. From what we've seen, they are all very, very different lakes as well. So,
Thank you.
yeah, no, they're very nice. I mean, how did it come about that you became a partner of the lakes?
Oh God, it's going back a while. I think we've had it about 16 years now. And I used to be in the tackle trade for many years since I left school. Getting a little bit fed up, and a friend of mine puts up for sale signs and what have you, and this came up and he talked me and John into it, and we come over and had a look, and we just said yes straight away. We started with nothing, the gate was locked, it was an absolute tip, hardly any swims on any of it, and we stocked it from there really. And
Changed it a little bit over the years.
originally we were going to do a lot of match lakes, that didn't particularly work, and luckily they grew really well, and you know we went down the specimen route and seems to have paid off for us.
Yeah, well, it seems there's decent fish in all of the lakes around here.
Yeah,
so.
it's coming on well.
Yeah, awesome. So going back to Mallard, obviously we've turned up, we've got 4 nights, well 3 nights left. So we've gone for the approach we would do for a longer session, but a lot of people will be coming down here, day sessions, maybe 24 hours. What sort of approach would you say works best in them situations?
Yeah, generally you still want to put a bit in. I don't think people put enough in when they come on here, but obviously if you're only here for a day it's a job to do it. But I would say put a good sprinkling of pellets in. Whatever boilies they like to use, it sees everything, but a good quality bait will show through, breaks them up and what have you, and spom a bit out, and fish, probably small pop-ups seem to work the best, if anything, like 12 mil, something like that.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense with the bait, because obviously if there's quite a good head of 20 pound plus fish, they get through the bait really quickly. So, and if they move on to it and there's a shoal of them, then they could easily have a
Obviously,
couple of
if it's not fishing particularly well that day, you can put too much in, but the better catches are definitely over bigger beds of bait, pellet and boilie mostly.
Awesome. Obviously, we mentioned facilities as well. So you've got a fully stocked tackle shop on site?
Yeah, well it's a small tackle shop, it's more to get you out of trouble really.
Yeah.
We sell pellets and boilies and things, we sell mistral boilies, but it's to get you out of trouble more than anything.
Yeah, so if you need something you can just pop around and
we'll hopefully
carry
get you
fishing.
out what you need. Like.
Awesome. Well, obviously, thank you for having us down here for this week. Thank you for the interview as well, and being so accommodating. You've been popping around 2 or 3 times a day already, just seeing how we're doing, and luckily we are catching a few fish for the camera. So it's been a great experience.
Right,
so
thank you very much. It's been good having you.
Better get my rods back out, haven't I?
Yeah.
We're now back in our swims. We had a bit of a wander around the whole complex, getting some footage of everywhere, having a good little look around, and also resting the swims. Put lots of bait out earlier, so hopefully that gave them a chance to mooch in, have a bit of a feed with no element of danger around at all, because that's exactly what has worked for Andy so far. Still got that left one just down in the margin, and when I got back into my swim, something moved. So time to settle in for the evening. Now, unfortunately, I left Luke to go to the co-op and get the ciders. So blame him for that, but I won't complain too much because he did buy them, but he needs some foam, and I know that he's getting his rods back out, same positions, and you put lots of bait out earlier as well. Foam in the pocket.
Good man, thank you very much.
No worries. And that's how close the swims are. So very much a nice social venue as well. Apparently it used to be a match lake, part of the history of this place. Some of the swims have been gotten rid of because it was just a bit too crowded, but plenty of swims, plenty of space still. And the way we're fishing with lots of rods on one spot, it makes sure that we're not encroaching on each other's spots. But that's pretty much it. And there's Andy as well, heading back to his swim.
Hello.
So we're all getting the rods out for the second evening, hopefully lots more to come. And you're not going to wake me up at 4 AM again, are you?
No, try not to.
I need some sleep tonight.
Put them out this time on my own.
Hurry up, Luke, just waiting on you.
All right, I'm getting there. You got yours all out now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Waiting on Luke. We're waiting on you catch fish.
Banter here, top bants.
Just getting the 3 rods out for the night. They're nice and tight together. 3 rods all in the same spot. I've put out quite a bit of bait during the day, which, based on how Andy's been fishing and his approach, it's definitely paid off for him during the day, where he's been having bites pretty consistently during the day. So earlier on I put about 25 spoms of, again, mixed 20mm and 15mm boilies, all the MB1 coated in the cloud, as that seemed to do the job early hours of this morning. So let's get these 3 rods out and then finally get on with some dinner. Just about to sit down for a nice little barbecue, nice little social at the end of another long day, and my right rod absolutely screamed off. Probably the most cardio I've done for about 4 years, but I made it to the rod. Luckily it wasn't too far away. I've literally just been plodding about, hasn't really done a great deal in fairness. So let's get it, there's a nice little weed bed just quite close in, so let's try and get it just past that. And hopefully should get in the net. So just about sat down after a long day's filming for a bit of a barbecue, bit of a social. My right rod absolutely tore off. £23, 4-ounce common. Hopefully it's the start of more things to come. Put a load of bait out today because they were definitely hammering the bait, and yeah, it's just absolutely screamed off. So hopefully I'll get a few more wake-up calls during the night, but for now, let's get her back and have a nice little barbecue.
Well, it's the second morning and I'm finally off the mark with this little scamp. Came just before first light and then shortly after yours went off as well.
Yep, absolute screamer, middle rod. Again, out of nowhere, just pelted through the alarm.
And we're all fishing at the same distance, about 10 wraps. and there's a lot of bait in that line now, so if fish move through, it seems that the bites come quite quickly, or at least it did last night. So hopefully there's a few more to come. Otto got in on the act this morning and last night with 2 lovely fish up in his swim, more in the weed than anything. So a last night bite and then a morning bite shows that the fish moved out of the weed and had a bite, and then came back in this morning. He's had another one. Yours ready to go back? I think mine probably is as well.
Ready, yep.
And Andy's just had one as well, so we'll quickly go down and talk to him as well.
Well, we're into the second morning now, and this one's just ripped off. A little bit of a change of tactics this morning. The spots that we've been fishing on seem to have got a lot softer. I don't know if there's a bit of silkweed or something that's come over. I just thought that the baits might have been a little bit covered, so I opted for a recast, and literally 10 minutes after, this one's ripped off. I also put in bait again last night, but I opted to fish and literally had 2 bleeps. So yeah, I don't know if the lines in the water made a difference, but yeah, literally that recast this morning, I felt something wasn't right in my own mind. Yeah, quick rechuck, and basically it's ripped off, and this is number 5 now.
Here we go. As you can see, I'm now fully clad in full waterproofs because the weather has completely swung from yesterday, but it seems to have made a difference to the fishing. They've been showing more, and this one I was just sat in the bivvy watching the water, just one tonered, and 21 pound 2 ounce. I've now joined Luke and Andy in the 20 club, and the second fish of the session. Lovely common, and hopefully there's more to come, but very, very happy with that. And it just shows that the change of weather seems to have spurred the fish on a bit more. Let's get some snaps and slip it back.
So in terms of weather, today's been a bit of a washout. It's been chucking it down all day long, and it's now about 5:30 in the evening, and it's finally cleared up a little bit. As you've probably seen, or you have seen, it hasn't affected the fishing at all. If anything, it's spurred them on. And between us here, we've had 9 fish out. Most of them fall into Otto, the work experience guy, so he's more than made up. A couple of nice 20s for him as well. But yeah, the fish have just been everywhere. They've been hammering the bait. We've been getting more bait out. So I'm going to get this one back, get the rod back out on the spot, and again, get another few kilos of bait out because they're definitely having it, and we've still got another couple of nights left. So let's get some snaps, get her back, and get the bait out.
Well, it's coming into the final evening now for myself, and Alan's just nipped down to bring the lads a bit more bait, the owner of Mistral Baits, and this one on cue was ripped off. Really happy with this one. Atlantic crab and the Rosa Isotonic doing the business again. What do you think, mate?
Well, it ain't a bad fish for this lake. It's what is it? Getting on for £20.
It's not far off. It's not far off. Let's hopefully we can have a few more throughout the evening and then going into the night. And yeah, we'll slip this one back now.
How many you had? About half a dozen?
I've had 6 now, yeah.
That's not a bad little session.
It's going well. It's going well. I think we've had around about 20 in total between the 4 of us. So yeah, Otto's showing us all up, work experience lad, but
So who's letting the side down?
I think it's Joe, to be honest. But no, it's a beautiful fish.
I'm done.
Hang on a minute.
Only joking.
Thank you very much.
I know. Oh, I swear, every time I sit down, it feels like I've never sat down before in my life. It's been a busy day.
It's been a very long, busy day. Very wet, busy day as well.
Yes, indeed. So we haven't got much filming down over the lake and things. We've just been rushing around, mainly because of work experience boy. I don't know why we're calling him. There's a Bosch. Don't know why we're calling you work experience boy, because you're making us work.
Putting us to shame, making us work. We won't be doing this again.
This is a one-off, Otto. All right. But no, fair play to you. You're doing a grand job in that swim. The swim that we all like the look of, but thought we'll let you have it. We'll tuck you away in the corner.
Yeah. Is it 4 fish today?
Yeah, 4 fish, 5 bites, I think. One
Yep.
tench,
320s.
320s. Yeah, not bad.
I think we're working on, is it 720s now?
I think it is, yeah, between us.
19 fish?
Yeah, no, 820s,
820s.
I think, yeah.
No, I'm the one slowing us all down, of course. But I'll pull it back, I'm
Slow and
sure.
steady.
I'll have something else. But it's testament to the lake, really, because we got here, we've never seen it before. And we found spots, and there's clearly plenty of fish in here to go for.
Oh, there's loads, yeah. 19 fish in 2 nights.
Yeah, and I'm sure that, like with any lake, you can turn around and kick you in the nuts sometimes and be a bit of a difficult lake, but we're having it all right. And today's weather has just switched it on.
Yeah, it has, yeah. Yeah, now that the rain stopped a little bit as well, it's almost like they've kind of come down our way,
Yeah.
and we've been getting a few bites down this end. I know me and Andy have had one.
And I'm feeling,
couple
mine
of
was
hours.
very out of the blue when it was mid downpour, I think, but I think that the lake definitely seems like it's a very much a weedier end and then more of an open end. So I'm thinking they held up in the weed today. It's been, well, we've seen it. They've been rolling around up there, bubbling. You've been getting bites pretty consistently. Hopefully, I'm hoping my theory's true. They'll move out of the weed come the evening and we'll start getting bites because, yeah, on 2 fish, I'm slacking here.
You'll pull it back, you always do.
Yeah, but it's a very enjoyable place, very sociable, as you can see. We're all very close to our rods.
Yeah, swims are nice and close for a social, aren't they? So it's ideal.
It
in
used
that
to be a
respect.
match lake, so if you want to come here for a social, then crack on. And very laid back. The whole venue, it seems very chill. Like there's not loads of rules and things. I think the
No.
main one that we've heard is barbless hooks.
Yeah.
Other than that, as long as you're not a bit of a...
It's common sense.
Common sense,
I'll
yeah.
take over there. It's common sense, really. That's all.
Before I
you need.
start insulting people, it's, there's a whole variety of people here as well. We've got, well, without going into details, you've got the kitted out anglers and you've got the getting into intermediate or Argos anglers, as some you want to refer to. There's something for everyone here.
But then there's lakes to accommodate each
Exactly, yeah.
each type of angler.
And
as
everyone's
well,
enjoying
so-
themselves. The bay has been very helpful when they come around, checking how you're doing, and genuinely interested, not just coming around for the sake of it. But anyway, 1 or 2 more of these,
And then just chill out.
1 or 2 more of them, and
Well, you know where they're going to be going, don't you?
Otto's going to keep us awake.
Mm.
Well, 1 of 2 bites in quick succession for me just before first light. This one the bigger of the 2. First one I just slipped straight back because he wiped out a couple of lines. And it's probably only about a 6-pound mirror, but show that putting out the bait, they moved in on it, getting the rods back out quickly, and this one wasn't far behind. So it's put me up to 4. Still a bit behind the rest of the lads, but plan of action today I think is just going to be put a lot more bait in. They seem to be responding to it. So instead of going a kilo or 2, I think we're going to put about 5 or 6 out and just sit on it, and hopefully the fish move in. Happy days. Hopefully there's a few more to come.
Right then, mate, I'll be heading off soon.
Yeah, all packed up.
Yeah, back to the grind for a couple of days.
Yeah, back
And off to the
to.
zoo for the weekend with the kids.
That's not too bad then.
No, it should be all right, but no, I've really enjoyed this. We've had a cracking session.
It's been a good session, isn't it? What was it, 23 fish between like the 4 of us here?
Yeah, definitely. And then, 6, 7 20s?
Yeah, it's 720s, and just behind that camera I've got another common in the net which could potentially go 20. So we'll check that out after this bit.
Good. I think I've had 2 20s. I could have had another one last night, but Harry Adini showed up and...
He did not want to stick around, did he?
No, he didn't. flew out my arms and off he went into the water. So, yeah, it's one of them, unfortunately. But no, I've really enjoyed it. It's been good. I think the tactics at the start to put that bait in and get my head down, and after you guys followed suit and stuff, and it's
Definitely paid off,
worked.
isn't it?
Big bed to bait, definitely
Yeah,
worked.
they've been right on it, yeah.
And they're not shy of moving around, but what, 350, 400 fish?
Yeah, in about 5 acres, is it?
5 kilos, absolutely nothing for him to come along in a group and mop up. But
Well, that's it. With that fish I've just had then, I haven't put the rod back out on the spot because I've got 2 on the same spot as well. So there's more chance of getting a bite like that than putting the rod back out, spooking things, them going off. So I've still got 2 there. It's not worth it.
no, definitely. I'm a little bit different than you with my rods spread out. They're probably from 40 yards, and then baiting probably around about the size of a tennis court.
Yeah.
Just spraying boilies everywhere with a catapult. So yeah, it's been good.
It's funny that all different techniques have worked. So obviously you've got yours quite splayed out. I've got mine 3 on a spot. Joe's got his. He's got a couple on a spot and then this margin spot. And then Otto down the end has got them in just little patches of weed. And every single technique is paying off. And I think the key thing is the bait.
Yeah, definitely.
They're definitely getting on the bait.
Putting in quite a bit of bait is drawing them in and keeping them in with what Otto did yesterday. What, 3 or 4 20s?
Yeah, 3 20s in a day.
It was it was brilliant bit of angling.
Yeah. Right, well, I better film this fish, get him out, get him back in the water.
Yeah, I'm going to hit the A50, can't wait.
A couple of hours.
Yeah, 2.5 hours back home, but like I said, I've really enjoyed it. It's been a pleasure to be around you guys fishing and stuff, considering we never met and stuff before. Everybody's got on really well. Like I said, we've all had a few fish.
Yeah, I think it's been worth the drive for all of us, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. No,
Awesome.
Good
Well,
to
thank you very much.
Catch up with you very soon.
Yeah, nice one. See you soon.
Cheers, Joe. Speak to you soon, mate.
Right in the middle of our weed bed there, isn't he? Moving so slowly. It's going to be a very dull landing when now he's covered in weed. Ooh, shit.
So me and Joe were just sitting there having a cup of tea in my swim, and I said to him, it really feels like something might just go out of nowhere. 5 minutes later, left rod absolutely screamed off and resulted in this common. Bang on 18 pound, amazing looking fish, nice dark common, and put up a bit of a fight, got it in, and yeah, what a fish. So as Joe's already mentioned, we're going to go with a heavy baiting approach. So we're going to get this one back, we're going to put out about 5 kilos of bait each, and then we're going to reel in, go down the shop, get a few supplies for our last night, leave the area clear of rods for a good few hours, and then just put our 3 rods over the spots, and hopefully it will pay off for our last night. So let's get this one back and get some bait out.
We just got back from the supermarket, got a few refreshments for later on, and just a nice bit of a change of scenery really. As much as I love fishing, every now and then you need a little bit of a break, and it's giving the swim a rest. But before I put them out, I thought I'd quickly show you the rig that's been doing 4 out of my 5 bites. Unfortunately, I lost one just before we wound in to go to the shop. Absolutely peeled off, got it about halfway in and it ditched me in the weed. But this is the rig that's done the bites. I had my first bite on a Ronnie rig. That's where I use most places. I know it sits right, it resets well, and I've always done well. But 1 of the 5 takes on the Ronnie, 4 of the 5 takes on this. So all 3 rods are now going to go out on this. Not a rig I use very often, but it's very, very simple. Snowman sort of setup. I've got I think it's a 10mm Atlantic crab or 12mm Atlantic crab, trimmed down ever so slightly, and that's sitting on top of a 15mm MB1 Plus. So 2 different colours. That's the 2 baits that I'm feeding the swim as well. But it just gives it some buoyancy. A little shot on the hair just to keep it all down, so the hook sits completely flat on the lake bed and the bait just wafts above it like that. And I've then got a little bit of shrink tubing on the shank of the hook. I'm using I think it's a size 5 claw. Really aggressive hooks. The hook holds I've got with this, bar the one I just lost of course, have always been very good, and that just means that the bait drops directly from the bottom of the shank. And a little bit of shrink tubing on the eye as well, and if I show you, every single time, without dropping it, it flips and digs into my hand without fail. I've done this test so many times, flip it the other way, still turning in, it doesn't want to go anywhere other than into my hand, so it flips really well. And that, to finish off, just to make sure that on the cast it's sitting pretty out there, and a little bit of extra traction, I've crushed down some Atlantic crab and MB1, put it into a little bag, slide it on like so, and just slowly pull it in. And the reason for using the crumbed up stuff is I know that it's just virtually powder in the bottom of this bag, hook point's not getting masked, and now I know that when that lands, even if there is some kind of low-lying weed, that's going to sit on top. Pop-up's just floating around with the little parcel of bait next to it. Little anti-tangle sleeve going onto a helicopter setup using the heli-safe system from Cordis. I'm dropping the lead because there's a lot of weed out there. I want to get the fish up as much as possible and less hindrance. And that's it, very, very simple. And the only other thing that we're doing now is putting it on top of a big bed of bait, and hopefully all of that pays off.
All sorted for the night?
Just about. That one went down with a nice drop, so I'm happy with all 3 of them. Time to see if my, our heavy bait approach pays off.
Yeah, my arm's definitely aching a bit from that.
Just from casting?
Just from
It's
casting.
been a long time away from your missus, hasn't it?
Thank you
One for
very
you,
much.
one for me. Oh, here's to the last evening. Cheers.
Cheers.
Hopefully clawing back to catch up with Otto, because he's had another one today, lost a few.
He's on 7 now, isn't he? I think.
I think it's the last time we bring him.
Yeah, I'm glad it's just a week's work experience we put to shame otherwise.
But yeah, it's been a lovely place, really enjoyable, really welcoming. Fish have been great quality.
Yeah, all really nice dark fish, aren't they?
And it's always, when you come to a new venue, you're not sure what to expect. You come away with a fish or 2, you're happy, but it's been pretty prolific at times.
Yeah, I think.
Now the fish just rolled behind the weed.
Yeah. I've lost count of how many fish it is between
And
us
it seems
now.
to keep happening when we're on camera as well, but they're very active in here, that's for sure.
Oh, we've seen a lot of fish showing since we've been here, haven't we? Loads. But yeah, hopefully all the baiting up earlier will pay off. Put a lot
I've
of
had
bait out.
several bites in the dark now, so I'm pretty confident something will happen again tonight,
Yeah.
but we'll see. But for more of these in sessions, make sure you follow us on both Facebook, Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah.
Keep up to date with everything we do, and if you've got any suggestions of other venues we can fish, then put it in the comments below, because we'd love to know where you want us to go. And
Yep.
we're always going to be up for going fishing somewhere else.
Happy to go all around the country, so if you do know somewhere that's worth visiting, then definitely let us know.
100%.
Alright, should we get some dinner on?
Yeah. Takeaway?
Just woken up on the last morning here, and I think Joe might have had something last night, so let's go over to a swim. And there's definitely a bit of commotion going on over here. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, there's no sling. Oh, there is a sling. There you go, something waiting in there. Morning, Joe.
Morning.
What'd you get?
Another double common.
Yeah?
Lovely way to round off the session.
I thought I had something going on last night.
Absolutely bricked off.
Yeah.
Right hand rod, the one that I moved off the margin spot for the first time because there's done nothing down there. Couple of beeps, got the shoes on, looked up. One just shot forward. Hit the alarms, spun the alarms round and was pulling the rods. And I'm not fishing fully locked up.
No.
Very violent, to say the least.
Well, time is quickly evading us. This one came yet again before first light. There's definite bite time in my swim. And I gotta say, my whole baiting up approach didn't pay off. And same for Luke, we put out quite a bit of bait, hoping that it would bring the fish in. And no more bites than usual. Who knows whether if we were here for another 24 hours, if they did then move in and start munching on it, but didn't quite pay off last night. But at least there's one more to finish off the session. We got to be shooting on in about an hour, so quick pack down because Otto's just had a couple to finish off his session as well. He's proper shown us up this week. I think 4 different 20s, and we just went through the whole catch report with the bailiff, and I think we've managed 29, 30 fish between us in the 4 days. So definitely a venue to come for a few bites and a decent head of fish and a good stock size as well. So slip this one back, get packed down, and I think Spoon's breakfast is on the cards.
Come on, Otto.
We'll wrap it up here.
What a session it's been.
I think this just sums it all up. The old typical dorsal app.
That is exactly what it's about, isn't it?
I may not have caught you up on numbers, but I think we'll all agree it's one of the prettiest for the session.
Yeah.
Rain's just starting to come down, everything's packed up, bring in the last 2 rods. But if you like this video, please make sure you're subscribed, hit the bell button on YouTube or follow us on Facebook and that. And
obviously, if you want us to come to a venue near you, let us know in the comments below.
preferably places with bangers like this in.
Cool, yeah.
Let's get some snaps.
Yeah.
Go to Spoons, I'm hungry.
Let's do it. Well done, Joe.